Hey y'all,
Hey,
welcome to another week, another episode of ZLS. We've got the first time, three-time ZLS guest, Corbin Crutchley, here to talk about his
hello.
company and his new product, Ocean Bits and Get Shark, respectively.
Yeah,
Corbin, super good to have you on.
thank
We
you. It's
were
always
having
good
a
to be
little bit
here.
of camera issues there, but you're looking all right now. I feel like this was better than, than where you're normally watching
I-
out.
I'm looking a little two-faced here. Hang on, I'll put my hand up the whole stream and we'll be good.
That'll be great. It looks like it's got a good two face.
It's this camera. Like I said off stream. I put an order for a Fujifilm, like a $500 Fujifilm, and they're back ordered by like 2 months. So I just have to sit and wait for them to get in stock.
That's dedication, man. Well,
Yeah.
I'll be looking forward to seeing it. But yeah, what we got for us today? Ocean Bits, Get
Yeah.
Shark. What is it? What does it look like?
So Ocean Bit, not Bits, is
My
the
mistake.
company name. No, you're good.
There's just one bit. It's a zero.
Well, you know,
Or it's a
the
one.
reason why
It's true.
I like it so much because like I associate like a bit like a computer bit with like a square, you know. So like our designer Ed, he came up with this logo of like a cube and an ocean in that cube, and like it's fantastic. I love it.
Nice.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, Ocean Bit is just an excuse to get my taxes lower. No, I'm just kidding. So Ocean Bit is the company that I fund.
The IRS is going to be checking this film.
Well, they should. I mean, that's their job, right? No, so Ocean Bit is the parent company of what I'm hoping to be a development suite. So in the future, we're wanting to build an IDE and some CI/CD solutions, so on and so forth. That's kind of like long-term thinking. Short term, what we're doing is we're building desktop and mobile applications, and we're starting with GitShark. So GitShark is, if you think of like GitHub Desktop or like GitKraken or one of those tools, it's basically that tool, but available on your phone or on your iPad or on your desktop. Right now, we're focusing on mobile because iOS has like one app that kind of sort of does this, but I'm not a fan of its UI. And then Android has one that like does not work very well and was last updated in like 2017. But you know, with how prevalent iPads are becoming for development tools, I think it's important to have the rest of the development suite, and we're hoping to bring a really good experience to the user for stuff like that. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. But so is the idea for GitShark to be able to like review code, or are you imagining like the stories would go to like review and pull requests and like even requesting or suggesting changes like you would see on GitHub?
Yes, you could do that, just as you can with kind of any other Git client. But I'll actually explain why I came up with GitShark and why I'm building it, and it's actually a lot of it is for my own usage, admittedly, which is what I think most good products tend to be.
Yeah.
So, before COVID, I used to fly all the time. I used to travel all the time. I used to fly all the time. You know, I just enjoy traveling. But the problem is when you're on a laptop or when you're on a plane, a 17-inch laptop, you know, like I have a 16-inch MacBook Pro, that's a pain in the butt to like sit up in your lap in economy seating and like, yeah, exactly, right? So
the T-Rex coder.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, I have a 10-inch iPad. Why can't I use this 10-inch iPad and like, you know, a keyboard? I got one right here. Why can't I just plug these in and then write my blog post for Unicorn Utterances?
Yeah.
And then be able to commit those and make pull requests directly from my device, right? So that was my logic there, is that like, if you're doing something that doesn't require like super heavy lifting, maybe you need to make a super quick hot patch on your website. Maybe you're working on markdown files, which is what I would be doing. Any of those instances, having a Git client on the go is super convenient and nice to have. So yeah. But Ocean Bit isn't just GitShark. One of the things we're working on right now is a design library. So I'm huge on open source, absolutely like love open source. So one of the things that Ed and I have been working on, I can actually share it a little bit, is a complete design system. So we have like button specifications, and we have like secondary, tertiary buttons. We have button groups. We have like navigation bars. We have error bubbles. So we're kind of coming up with any components that you might need to utilize in your application. And we're building it for Android. We're building it for React and React Native, and maybe eventually for Angular and so on and so forth. But we're going to start with the React ecosystem. And basically the idea is if you want to build your own application, you can utilize our tools, which include animations, and they have error handling and all this other stuff, to be able to build them in your application as well. We're still very early stages of this, but we're going to have it completely 100% open source. We're going to be developing it in public, just like we're doing with GitShark. GitShark is totally open source as well. So we're kind of taking the methodology of like being by developers for developers, you know? And that's kind of our long-term goals, is to be a boon to the development ecosystem, you know?
Very cool. Do you have any links to your design system here?
I don't yet, although you should definitely follow us on Twitter if you're interested, which I can link really quickly.
That'd be awesome.
Because we will be making announcements on Twitter. Otherwise, if you want to, we're still super early, so don't take what's in this repo as an example of what the final product is going to be, because we've had to shift gears a few times. But if you star this repository and listen for tags, I will basically, or listen for new releases, I will basically only be creating a release at this point once we have a version that's like a beta or an alpha for what's ready to go for public consumption. But that's not to say we're not working on this right now. So like a great example is these inputs. I don't know if I press play if these inputs
is this
work.
Is this your partner Ed here?
That's Ed. Yep, Ed's
Ed.
fantastic.
How's it going,
yeah, he's fantastic. So not
is that a custom Ed emoji right there?
Which one?
The one at the end?
Not like this, not quite. That's a Twitch mainstay.
Okay, it kind of looked like him.
I'm never gonna let him live that down now.
Sorry, Ed.
You know what? Given how much he spams not like this in my Twitch, it might as well be his custom emote.
His favorite emote. That's Total Biscuit, right?
I
right there.
Think I'm gonna get this wrong, and then Ed's gonna give me a hard time for it.
I got to learn the lore of the culture I'm a part of now.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, I got one right.
Yes, there you go. Fantastic. But yeah, so I mean, so a great example is this input. Let me see if I can find that tweet. If I can, that would be fantastic, because this took me like 18 hours to. Took me so
show off that logo while you're here too.
Oh yeah, so like this input, that animation takes way longer than you would think it would to build. But it's there. And then this is our company logo. So like I said, it's like a bit, so like, you know, a little square with the ocean inside. I mean, honestly, I'm just hugely appreciative to Ed. I mean, I seriously couldn't be doing any of this stuff without him. If you see something on a screen, it's because Ed told me to put it there. I'm terrible with design. So hugely appreciate Ed joining me for working through all this. So
awesome. Hats off to Ed.
Yeah. But we're doing some exciting stuff on the technical side. So in preparation for Seaside, what we're doing is we plan on having two separate like design packages. So we have Seaside, which is for
Seaside
public.
is the name of your design system?
Yeah,
right?
it will
okay.
Be. And it'll be published to npm/Seaside.
Gotcha.
Which I that's not taken yet. Who thought that wasn't taken?
How do you spell it?
SEASIDE.
Oh, okay. But you wanted to go with Oceanside? To go with Oceanside?
You know, I feel that, but I liked, like, Seaside sounds more aesthetic.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, seas are freshwater, right? So it's a little more fresh.
That's true. Yeah.
not quite as salty.
Yeah, but so the idea is that we'll have Seaside for our public consumption, you know, like components that are generalized for everyone. And then we'll also have our internal, what's published under Ocean Bit /styles. So right now what we're doing is we're building everything in this package, which again is still totally open source. And then once we finalize this package, we will be extracting things out of it and making them more generalized for public usage. But something that's really cool is that, like, so we have our colors defined. Let me see if I can find this really quickly. Styles, it'll either be under styles or branding. I think it's styles. Ed, I'm showing off all your work. Don't be mad at me. So I mean, this color palette looks very simple, but took us about 2 months to pick. Turns out colors have like 18 different steps that I didn't realize were there before. I'm mad. He's mad even though I do it every single live stream. So, you know, what can you do? He knew he was going to be working in public. So we have our palette, and in our palette, we have them defined. Where is it? Colors. So all of these are defined by HSLA props. And then we define what are called color tokens based on those keys. So like we have a high emphasis mode and medium emphasis. So instead of coding colors dot blue dot whatever, it would be colors dot high emphasis, low emphasis. And we have both light modes and dark modes.
What is colors that you're importing there? Is that
colors is just an object.
Okay.
With strings.
Gotcha. Okay, I see.
Yep. And then we define the color tokens, and we do the same thing with like text styles. So we have the ability to override some of the fonts and so on and so forth. And then spacing, opacity. So like we have tokens for everything that's in the app, right?
Yeah.
And then what we do in our app for like GitShark is we're building in React Native.
Okay.
And then under our package JSON, we have oceanbit/styles. And then we have a under hooks constants theme. And then we just copy and paste that theme, right? So like, so we're using material paper for some of our elements. And because of that, we just define a dark paper and a light paper theme. But yeah, so we basically just export that theme constant object. And then anytime we need to do something in styling, we can do exactly like this. So like under a TSX file, my IDE is lagging here. That's not the file I picked. Nope, that's also not the file I picked. Oh, come on. Theme.colors. There we go. So here, like we have our text input, right? And then under our text input, we simply do theme.colors.error or theme.spacing.whatever. And then we have a few packages that'll dynamically change all of this based on whether you're light mode or dark mode. So like it's super convenient to be able to just import your theme colors this way. But not only are we using it for React Native, we're also using it for our Gatsby website.
Okay.
So in our Gatsby website, we have our Gatsby browser or our Gatsby SSR file, right? And here we import the theme from OceanBit. And then what we do is we go through each of the items in that constant file, and we construct a CSS variable using a set property here. And then we inject that as a script in the head of the document during rendering. Like during the server side, the server side generation. And then we have our CSS variables, and from there we can reference them with like
Neat.
High emphasis. That's not what I wanted. Doing a really good job at demonstrating all these things that aren't working for me.
You're doing great. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
so
it.
like right here, you can see that we're, instead of theme.colors.whatever, it's just CSS var label medium emphasis. And again, those CSS variables toggle back and forth based on dark mode or light mode.
Neat.
So using one package, publishing via NPM, we're able to share our color values between Gatsby and React Native, which is pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I like that. That's pretty clever with building it into your SSR. That's neat.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And what we're going to do in the future, we don't have this implemented yet, but the way that we're going to add support for Seaside with both like React Native and normal React projects is that with styles or styled styled components, that's what it's called. You can do something like p.theme.colors.whatever. And then that way we can inject, instead of having to have people use the CSS variables trick, they can do that as an alternative API to what they're doing. So we're going to provide a few different options to inject the theme, if you will.
Gotcha. So that was like that was JavaScript you were writing there, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's using string interpolation with styled components.
Right.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, coming from Angular, it's like the JS and CSS. I never was really sure what that looked like, but yeah, it's a definitely interesting thought.
Yeah.
So cool, man.
Yeah. So I'm excited about what we're doing. I think it's even if GitShark isn't a huge hit, it's not really a big deal to us. I think it might be a big deal to Ed, but it won't be a big deal to me because, I think part of it is that we're looking to improve the lives of developers. And I think having like that code open sourced and having Seaside be open sourced, I think that even if GitShark isn't a big hit, that at least we'll be able to kind of like get our name out there and be like, hey, look, we're developers as well. We know how the tooling process goes. And, by that, maybe we can kind of grow into like a household name of sorts. And then our next product might do better. That's our hope anyways.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that goes really well for y'all. And like the work y'all are doing and putting it out there.
I hope it goes well because Ed deserves at least 18 times the pay that I'm able to give him now. So like I need it to work so that I can give Ed giant sums of money because gosh darn it, he earned it.
There we go. Well, everyone go use Seaside so we can give Ed giant sums of money. He's getting some ideas.
He's thinking about it now.
There you go.
So
awesome, man. Do you have any of GitShark to show at this point? Or
I can, yeah. So let's see if it's going to cooperate for me.
Cool.
So let me actually start by explaining React Native versus Expo, if you've not used Expo. So React Native is, you probably know about it, it's the mobile platform that allows you to write React for your UI, but then also have like native code that you interop between for whatever purposes you need, whether it's file system access, whether it's implementing a file picker. I don't know why files are so predominant in my mind, but they are. But that's
relevant for Git stuff, right?
It's kind of the number one thing that I've been wrestling with, yeah. So that's React Native. Now, Expo is a set of tooling on top of React Native. Okay. And the idea behind Expo is if you don't need a bunch of that native interop, what you can do is you can have a like kind of like a dummy native app, and then all of your UI and like your system logic on your UI can be tested literally just by scanning a QR code. Because you're not doing any implementation of native code, so you can just scan a QR code and treat it like a website and then just dynamically render it, right?
Interesting.
So that's super convenient, especially if you're wanting to, like, great example, I don't want Ed to have to pull my code and then have to run it on his phone to be able to test when I make UI changes, you know? Mm-hmm. So the problem, though, is that I have a ton of native code requirements, so I can't use Expo. So what I've done instead, please cooperate with me, computer. Sometimes it just breaks when I don't want it to. But what I've done instead is I've set up a storybook instance. Mm-hmm. And by golly, this is the most complicated story Webpack instance that I've ever created. Yeah. But I've had to mock out a bunch of stuff on Webpack, and even then it doesn't work 100%. But I'm able to show all the UI elements, which is super convenient. So let's see if I can load that. And if not, I've got my testing phone right here that we can load up.
Cool. Just throw that in front of the camera there.
Well, no, I actually have a program that'll let me show my screen on my computer.
That's even better.
I had to figure that one out very quickly because that's what I've been doing for most of my live streaming.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
It's been such a cool experience getting into like live streaming and like building a community around a tool that you're using and having your just like Ed and I almost never talk off stream because of how often we live stream. And then he and I can just like kind of grapple through like, you know, conversations that way, which is really cool.
Yeah. Is like Ed on camera talking with you as you go, or?
Nope. Just like this. He's in chat. But you know what? He has access to our Figma. I'm surprised he's not trying to mess with us here. I'll share.
So you can kind of see him on your screen.
Yeah. So we have, he messes with me so much that we have a dedicated memes page. So we have Naruto Corbin.
Okay.
We have stock photo man.
What's that? What's the fish up there?
It's the knife shark.
Okay. Cat memes. Yeah. You warned me about the cat memes at least.
Yep. We love our cat memes at Ocean Bit. I'm sad because I don't have a cat, but now I need to get a cat so that I can like take pictures of him and we can Photoshop him.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have like our basic checkbox, which behaves a little differently on web versus mobile. We have our radio buttons. We have the older text box. The newer text box, I think, is in a different branch. But then we also have like our repository list, right? So like it'll work kind of the way we'd expect it to. Nice. And then we have repository history. It's missing a lot of its UI elements just because I haven't provided them. We have repository changes. We have commit details. So like this was one in particular that like, so you'll notice that these two items separate and move, and then this shrinks up and down, and this rotates up and down.
I like that. That's really neat.
This took me a long time to animate, and it was so helpful to have it in storybooks because I could just make a quick change and it would live refresh instantly.
That's cool. Will that take like N amount of contributors, or
so
is it just one for two?
So right now we have, it's not two committers, it's an author and a committer. So we don't have like GitHub has support for a non-official like co-authored by. So it only works for two right now.
Gotcha.
But we also have the ability to only show one author.
Right.
Oh wait, hang on. I need to make this small mobile to show this. Yeah, so like if we have a long message and it's on a phone, we have the ability to expand it here. So we spend a lot of time trying to make sure that the UI has like a lot of nice little polishing details. Lots of time spent on animation, and 99% of the time I get the animations wrong 10 times out of like most of the time the animations are like
99% of the time they're wrong every time.
Yes. That's how I feel. But yeah, we've made some really cool animations actually in the app. I think that's my favorite part of dealing with this project is that like we can kind of do what we want with the UI. Yeah. It's been fun.
Animations are really cool that way. Yeah. I feel like, because it's like this extra, I don't know, this extra little bit of I don't know, care or love or like craftsmanship maybe to just show, hey, like we really care about this. We're really passionate about this, and it shows. Like I think that's the kind of things users like. It's hard to show that quantifiably. Hey, this made this 5% better, but I think it's the kind of thing your users really notice and really appreciate at the end of the day.
Right, so. I totally agree. But yeah, for Android, we've gotten it working fully, so we're able to clone the clone data, commit data, set commit data. We haven't gotten our diffing working yet, and our tree, instead of being a tree, it's just a flat list for now. Okay. But those are limitations we knew going in. We are going to be adding support in the near future for those. We have light mode, dark mode working. The sign in with GitHub button I'm really proud of. Because instead of like, username and password, which is like insecure and kind of messy, nope, we use direct OAuth 2. So you click the button, it leads you to the page, and then it leads you right back to the app, which is.
Can I ask you, are you using like some packages for that, or did you go through and actually write your own OAuth?
Well, so their OAuth is actually really simple. Okay. But what I've done is we can actually look at the code really quickly.
Nice.
So under source services, GitHub, that's the constant file. GitHub data. I haven't read my own code base in a while, so I'm quickly scanning for it. Where is it? Android permissions. Here, we'll go to the view. We'll go to views, settings.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll find it. So this is navigating. Why am I having such a hard time remembering where this is? Settings, account. There it is.
Hey, there we go.
So under account, we have GitHub integration, sign in. Here we go. So it's just a link to an OAuth page, which we've deployed to auth.github.dev. The reason for that is that we wanted to hide the client ID. We wanted to keep that secret because while we were actually investigating that, we noticed that a huge, like multi-million download version of a GitHub client for Android does not hide their GitHub client ID, which is bad because it means that other apps can mock, pretend
they can look like they are them.
Right. But that's here we built a quick, where is it? I know it's in here. We built a quick GitHub OAuth proxy, which is literally as simple as an Express app can be. And then we just res.redirect them to the GitHub OAuth page, right? Nice. And then we include our client ID from the process env. And then once they get returned back, I hope that's a fake access token. I'm pretty sure it is.
Hurry up.
I trust that I committed a fake access token in an @example.js doc. I have at least that much faith in myself.
That seems oddly specific for an access token, Corbin.
I think I might have copied it and changed a bunch of letters. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. That does seem oddly specific.
I don't see any letters unless you actually did what is it, the UUID thing for whatever. I don't see anything that's not a hex right there.
Yeah, that's true. So, anyways, so maybe I should
go to the meme page.
There we go. GitHub will automatically invalidate committed tokens. Also, hey, Hipster Smoothie, how you been?
Hipster Smoothie.
Yeah, he's the maintainer of some projects that I've amazingly GIMP. GIMP? It's JIMP. It's the JavaScript image manipulation program.
Oh, nice.
And very cool person. Yeah.
Nice. Hipster Smoothie, I'm not familiar with you or your work, but I definitely saw on Twitter today you posted about this logo you've got on screen here.
It's really cool.
That's a really cool Simpsons style logo. So yeah, super cool. Thanks for coming by and welcome. We're checking out Corbin's GitShark application right now.
Yeah.
Specifically, signing in with GitHub.
Yeah.
So this is a lot less. I've never gone and done this for myself. Actually, I've used the Firebase stuff, which will let you do. I think it has the capabilities to do this. I've poked around with Passport before too, but never actually went in and actually implemented it myself. So this is a lot less than I expected it would be. Yeah,
Passport is a lot more complex. But here, what we're really trying to do is we're trying to gain access to an access token. That's the wrong repo. And then once I get access to the access token, you can see that I'm storing it in React Native Secure Key Store.
Okay.
And this package binds to the actual, because on your phone you have an API for secure storage.
So React Native, the goal is you would handle both Android and iOS. So I imagine this is some API thing on top that could sit on top of either, and it's going to securely store it. Okay.
So under the hood, if you look under React Native Key Store, they have an iOS folder and an Android folder. So if we take a look at the Android folder, you can see that they have native Java code that binds directly to the native APIs.
Right.
So, yep. And then this API is like the cipher stream and stuff like that. So they're encrypting it, but then they're also storing it in the proper location that Android suggests you store it in. And then
Swift for iOS, I'm guessing.
Something like that, yeah. Swift or Objective-C. It's probably Objective-C. Yeah.
Okay. .h files. I thought I was done with you.
Yeah, me too. I'm really bummed. So I've actually had to write a lot of native code for React Native for GitShark.
Really?
Yeah. So I've actually been publishing projects as we go. So like the most popular one we've published, that's not it, is this one for Android. So like being able to draw content underneath the navigation bar, that required some native code to be written. And that was something that Ed wanted to implement based on suggestions from Google. But that I think that's pretty neat to be able to draw under the navigation bar.
Yeah, really neat.
And then there's also like the file system API didn't have like sim linking and stuff like that. So I had to implement symbolic linking in React Native FS. Trying to think of what else I've had to do. So if we look under Android, source main, Java. So I've also had to write native Git code because of memory limitations. So when you're trying to clone a project, I try to use a project called Isomorphic Git. Super great project. But the problem is that running in a JavaScript runtime environment on a phone with limited RAM, what I was hitting is that when I was trying to clone larger projects like the scale of Next.js repo, I was running out of memory. So what I had to do is I had to write a streaming, integrate with a streaming API for JGit. So I'm writing some native code for Android and iOS right now that allows me to be able to stream code directly from the Git repo HTTP server. So,
dang.
Yeah, so for this project alone, I've had to write Kotlin, Java, Swift, Objective-C, TypeScript, and that's just for like the basics. That's not even implementing the Windows and Mac OS versions yet.
Yeah. Well, is that something you're definitely going to want to tackle eventually? The native desktop? Okay.
Yeah, cool. Because right now, what we're actually working on, not this live stream, because I've gotten sidetracked by just some random project that I felt like working on. But what we've been working on for a few live streams is like the tablet mode. Yeah. So like, a phone UI stretched out isn't a great tablet experience. So we're focusing on iPad before desktop, because I think that iPad is the place where kind of like it's most needed.
Well, those definitely seem like the ones that don't have the really good solution right now. Like desktop feels like, I'm honestly not crazy about any of the Git desktop clients I've been on, but I feel like there's ones that exist that people like. So,
I mean, even I use one on stream. I use Git Fork, to be honest. It's fairly cheap. It's super convenient to use. I don't know what Git Up is. I don't think I've seen that one before.
I'm Googling it now.
Yep, I'm Googling it. It's happening. I've seen this one. This isn't. I definitely understand if people really like this one. It's not quite the UI I'm looking for in particular. Here, I'll share the screen. So it's much more tree focused. So like you're just left with the tree. And I'm not a huge fan of this type of UI, but I also understand if that's something that is more your speed. But yeah, there's tons of great alternatives on desktop, and we acknowledge that. We know what is already being used. We know what is generally liked by a bunch of people. We've tried to ask as many developers as we can various questions about what they prefer in their GUIs. But we definitely agree. We think that mobile is the place to start, but I think that one of the problems that I have with a lot of the Git desktops is that it's not open source, which might sound really stupid, because like if it works, it works. But there's something to be able to like dive into a code base and hack on it and being able to add a feature, I just think
if you really need to.
Yeah. So, we do plan to use desktop in the future. It's just not on our short-term goal list.
Gotcha.
So,
Very cool.
Yeah.
It definitely seems like the kind of thing, if you can get some dedicated following from mobile and tablet to be able to transition that into people who would like really like using it on desktop too. So
well, our next project that I think we're going to work on after GitShark, we'll probably work on tandem with GitShark desktop and the next app. I'm considering doing an IDE, something like porting Monaco on top of React Native, and
that
then doing a
sounds
bunch
super.
of native plugins.
That sounds super ambitious, but I respect the heck out of you for it.
Well,
what are you using for an IDE now? I think that's WebStorm, right? For like
WebStorm.
the JetBeans or the JetBrains kind of stuff.
Yep.
So, is it not good enough, or is it mainly that you're looking for a mobile / tablet version of an IDE?
I was going to say, yeah, Ed's comment is great. He's not wrong, to give him credit. Yeah, he's not wrong. I love WebStorm, and you know what? I love VS Code. I don't use VS Code very often, but I do really appreciate it. It's a fantastic editor. But on mobile, you know what's on mobile, right? Like if I open in my iPad and I believe Apple's ads that it's the desktop killer, how do I write a product for it, right? And that's kind of what I'm looking for, is that like I want to be able to tinker with something and see how it works. Yeah. But yeah, I will admit that that GitShark as my first app ever was a mistake. Because it involves a lot of mobile file system access. And if there's one project that's a problem on mobile, it's file system access. Yeah. Also, hello.
Josh, what's up, my man?
Yeah.
Good to see you. We're talking IDEs right now. Corbin's going to be building a mobile IDE.
Because I hate myself.
because you're a true innovator. That's what it is. So I've actually recently, I was like trying to mess with something, just really. There you go. I believe in you, Corbin.
Thank you.
I was trying to just pull down a Stackblitz that I had seen on Twitter, someone linked to, and I just wanted to like, what happens if I do this? And man, it was just not having enough real estate, screen real estate to be able to type. Like I think I could do it technically, but as I'm typing, you no way see where it's going. It's super cramped. It definitely feels like it wasn't meant for it. So,
but at the same hand, I don't want to make Stackblitz folks mad, because I've talked to Eric, who's the CEO of Stackblitz.
Yeah,
I've talked to him a bunch, and he's shown.
Interesting guy, by the way. Like when they did the thing at NGConf where they like lodged Stackblitz into space, I thought that was like the coolest idea ever.
And he's fantastic. He's shown huge amounts of support for GitShark. I don't know if he knows that I'm making a mobile IDE. I don't know if I want to tell him. But he's phenomenal, and I use Stackblitz all the time. Yeah, for work, for side projects. For
it's such a good tool for like sharing a snippet with someone where you actually want to see something. I feel like so. And
so I definitely don't intend to. I think one of the worst things that anyone can do, like one of the things that I really gets under my skin, is like smack talk competition. And Stackblitz is not competition; they win.
And to be clear too, I wasn't trying to smack talk Stackblitz.
No, I didn't think you did either. Yeah,
it's not very well suited for a phone. I feel.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I think that's going to be one of the biggest limitations we face. It's like, how do we deal with wrapping? How do we? I don't even know if Monaco editor is going to suffice for what we're looking for. You know, we may have to build our own language implementation services. You know, it definitely seems like a missing piece for iPad dev. GitHub Codespace in school could get pricey. Totally agree. Yeah, I think that there's like this ecosystem of people that kind of want to work on their tablets, want to work on their stuff. So there is an Android Java IDE on Android. And it's shaky. I use it for a long time. It's not fantastic. Crashes a lot. but it's still incredible that they were even able to make it. Because I remember it from like Android 2. Like I remember that I don't remember the name of the app, but I remember it's been around forever. It's like AIDE or something. So huge kudos to them for getting it to work. But yeah, it'll be interesting challenges to see what we face when we get to that bridge, you know?
Yeah. Well, so would your goal be to just have a text editor that can work reasonably well with like something that looks like IntelliSense, or would you be actually looking to go to lengths of like, let me serve this, or let me run this and see how it looks via terminal?
That'll be the challenge, right? We'll have to figure out what to do there. And to be honest with you, I don't know yet. I'm trying to focus right now on GitShark and get it to a reasonable place. But in the future, we may look into even something like deploying a React Native app on a phone. You know, that would be super cool. So it'll be interesting to see what type of challenges we run into. And I think more than anything, I'm excited to see what those challenges are, because I'll tell you right now, GitShark has been way more challenges than I ever anticipated from the get-go. And it's been my favorite project for that reason. Is it like, Ed's going to really appreciate this analogy. I always can make it akin to like Dark Souls, right? So Dark Souls has this massive barrier, and you're like, oh, I have no idea even how to get past this. And then you figure it out, and you're like, no way. And then you beat it, like the boss or whatever, and you're like, yes, like it's this rush of endorphins, and you feel super cool. And like, I get that experience every time I work with GitShark, is that like there's wall, but getting past those walls is like such an invigorating feeling on its own, that like the idea of working with a mobile desktop environment, or like mobile IDE, is just like fascinating to me. I think it'll be a really fun project to work on.
That's really cool. And to hear you talk about these challenges, and like just hearing your voice, that fire, that's really cool. So
maybe I'll fail though, and that's okay if I do. You know, like there's nothing wrong with putting something kind of into the ether and being like, look, it exists.
The cycle of pog face and not like this. Right?
So the story there is that every single live stream, every single one without failure, whether it's I'm playing a video game or I do anything, I will like hit a high, do amazing, and then immediately crash. And then it total inverse as well. I'll crash and I'll do something terrible, and then almost immediately I'll be like, I got it, and go way up, you know? So like
so it's like a sine wave.
Exactly. So in our Twitch chat, Ed used to put he had a bot that would say every time you put a not like this, it would say incoming pog, and then if you put a pog, it would respond incoming not like this.
That would be super cool if you could write like a Twitch bot to, and if you were logging your pogs and you're not like this, it would be able to tell you the period of your wave.
Yes, that'd be great. But yeah, definitely, Josh. It's like realizing these are the same kind of questions software giants had to figure out too. Yeah, I mean that's the thing with any major software group, is that like how can we figure out what to do, and how can we figure out how to solve those problems? You know, I think that's what makes CS such a fun environment to be in.
Yeah, just the sheer feeling of creation. That's been my thing, and that's what's made me gravitate towards front end development since the beginning. It's just to be able to have that closed loop, kind of what people experience, and being right there on the front lines. It feels like with it.
Speaking of, I've seen the tweets that you've been making about your RPG. They're phenomenal. I can't wait.
I take no credit for that. This is all like particle emitter stuff from Phaser that I'm just shamelessly taking from their examples. But it's fun. So the interesting part of that project is kind of taking the Phaser stuff and figuring out how to integrate it with like a turn-based RPG engine. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. Me and my son were looking at it yesterday and just talking about, well, what's different things we could do with this. So yeah, shameless borrowing. Exactly. Let me see if I can get this up. But while I'm doing that, I'm curious, Corbin, because I've actually been shying away from live coding recently because I feel like I was talking about this with Josh, because Josh also does a fair amount of live coding as well. I feel like I have I've suffered from like a two brain problem where one brain's like, is everyone having a good time watching me? And the other brain is like focused on the problem. And it's like, it's not two brains, it's just my one brain. And it's doing both jobs like 1/4 as good as it normally would. So,
and I think one of the challenges there is that like, you'll have people join halfway through a stream, and then you have to re-explain what the problem is, and then explaining the broader problem takes you away from the more minutiae problem. Yeah, I totally understand.
Well, there's pieces of that, like explaining a problem, that I find actually help quite a bit.
That's true.
Like trying to structure my streams when I do the live stream. I try to like center on a markdown file and just have like some bullet points there to look at. But yeah, and I feel like that helps. I feel like sometimes just explaining the problem has helped me as I've gone. And yeah, a rubber duck is the best coding partner. Yep. But I would contend, Hipster Smoothie, that an active chat is actually an amazing coding partner, especially if they're engaged. Yeah. It's so hard. It's so hard to make and keep that engagement, it feels like, especially when you're getting into some weird stuff. Right. Yeah. Chat is nothing but rubber ducks. That's all you are to us, chat.
And you know what? There's been some times where, like, a great example is let me see if I can actually find that line of code. I think it'll only take me a second, and it's very funny. So in my view for repo history, I want to say it's in here. No, it's one level up. So where is it? Right, use effect. So right here, right? I'm doing use effect with dispatch get log, right? So it's going to Redux saying get the get log and then return it, right?
Okay.
Well, I had this, and I was getting like constant refreshing, and I was like, why is this always refreshing? What is happening? And like someone in chat was like, you missed your secondary array, you know? And like that was just it would have taken me ages to figure it out, you know?
Yeah.
So like definitely rubber ducking, but even more than rubber ducking, they're also helping out. Also, take care, Josh.
See you, Josh. Have a good stream, man.
Yeah.
So. But I definitely get that. A flesh duck or a human duck. I don't know. That's a little gross.
Flesh duck sounded bad.
Flesh duck sounds wrong. I don't know what it is, but it's
correct.
Wrong.
Wait, no.
All right, let me see. I think I've got my thing serving here, so I can show off some of my little particle emitter stuff. Let's see. There you go. Share it. All right, there we go. So I'm coming to my demo. Oh, that's too big. Oh, Corbin, you keep killing yourself. My AI keeps So this is still back from when we were kind of working on this together, I think, for one stream, and we were like, let's make the second guy Corbin and the first guy Zack. So Corbin has AI now that he's just like picking a random move, so it's not very intelligent. But keep killing yourself, dude.
I'm not. You're right. I am not very intelligent. So
there you go. Okay, finally you used the move on me, and now I can. So if I use Ember on Corbin, we're going to see some stuff. It's kind of just like hooking this stuff up to different observables to say, so I can have like different events to hook into.
That's so cool.
Between my engine and between the phaser stuff. So like when someone dies, I'll send a message over on an observable saying, hey, this guy just died. It'll know to run the like death animation. And just trying to build some sort of thing here. I'm trying to demonstrate some more moves, but Corbin keeps killing himself. Okay, so Fire Hammer is just looks like this. And it's pretty much just for each move, I'm trying to get it so I can just define an array of actions, just as defined by a very simple JSON object, and just kind of be able to go from there. So building different steps, building different animation steps, one piece at a time.
Where are you getting the assets from?
The right now, this is from the skeleton sprite here is from just taken from some of the phaser examples.
Oh,
So
okay.
they had a nice sprite that had like a shoot, walk, attack, and some different stuff like that. That's pretty much all I needed to just like at least get some of the stuff tested. So
yeah, makes sense. I think that's super cool. I'm gonna have to join in on your stream in the future and see how you did it.
Nice. Well, yeah, it's fun. It's fun stuff. So I'm having fun with it. I really want to get my own sprites eventually, but I actually don't know how to go about getting them. Like I could probably go on Fiverr, I think, but that I worry about the quality of what stuff would look like if I went with Fiverr. So, and not knowing like how much, I don't want to be like being on Twitter. I was talking with Aaron about this. Like there's this kind of fear that you don't want to be the guy that, or the person that everyone piles on for being a jerk. And I feel like sometimes you could be a jerk without knowing. And one of the places I'm especially like cautious about that is the art community, because I feel like they get taken advantage a lot.
Right.
Like paying with exposure and stuff like that. So I'd want to like offer an appropriate amount of money to create some assets. And I have no clue what the appropriate amount of money is. So
well, and that's the problem that I face with that as well, is that like, you know, I do legitimately believe that Ed has put in as much work, if not more, than I have with Ocean Bit and with GitShark. And, you know, not only does he have a certain percentage of whatever profits we make, but I'm also trying to pay him like an actual properly salary of sorts. And it's not nearly enough. It's not even adjacent to enough. And it's the unfortunate side effect of being an indie developer and you know, trying to make ends meet and trying to be fair and reasonable as well. So I definitely empathize. Yeah, he worries too much. I do worry. I will never stop worrying because one day you'll. Sorry,
what emoji is this? I've got more stuff to learn.
I know. I've never seen this one.
What is it? I gotta find the Twitch chat here now. Okay, let's see.
Resident
Sleeper. No.
We'll Google it later.
I know. I was gotta like go to What's My Meme or whatever that site is. Exactly. I'm too old for this, Corbin. I'm too old.
Well, I'm too uncool for it, I guess.
So I recently learned from my kids that cap is a thing.
Okay.
I feel so unhip now. So apparently, like if you're cap, that means you're like lying. I think it's like Among Us slang. I'm not sure if it's stemmed from that or not.
I've heard of sus. I haven't heard of cap though.
I think sus is like the opposite of or tangential to cap at least. So
it's like suspicious.
I got kappa. I know what kappa is.
Corbin must understood what kappa meant. Look.
Rapper slang. Okay, they say no cap a lot. Maybe I'm completely off on the origins of the cap thing, but more research. We gotta stay cool.
Well, at least you're trying. I've given up on that.
You're always cool, Corbin. What are you talking about? I'm the one that's got to try. But we've only got a few minutes left. Do you want to talk about blogs a little bit? This is something I'm interested in. I'm wanting to get up my own blog eventually, and I'm trying to figure out like the different ways of doing it. We've had Aaron Frost come on, the lead architect for Scully. I don't know if that's his official title. He's involved with Scully. He's heavily involved with Scully, which is like an Angular way of doing Jamstack stuff, which lends itself well to blogs. I think you said you were using Gatsby for your stuff. So
I wish I could show you the because I built a blog as well. I actually wrote a blog post about it.
Yeah, I saw that on Unicorn Under. It says you had a blog about writing blogs on your blog.
And, you know, it's funny. It's using a totally different stack than what I'm using.
Yeah, this is kind of silly.
But yeah, so I can actually show you really quick what I'm doing for.
Yeah. Let me throw your screen up again here. Let me get that.
Share what I'm doing for OceanBit, which is a much simpler blog, and then I'll share what I'm doing for Unicorn Utterances, which is more complex. So OceanBit just has we're using front matter to display metadata about a blog post, but keep the data within the blog post.
Right.
We have the date and the title, and that's about it. We also have the actual content, so it's just normal markdown, so headers, and then quote blocks, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then using Gatsby, we have our config file. Come on, config file. Open up. Computer. There we go.
There you go.
So here we have like that's assets here. So like we're using Gatsby sorts file system to inject posts as like GraphQL instances, right? And then we have under our pages, we have a post list component, right? And post list contains just a component. And then under Gatsby node, when we actually go to build it, what we do is we do a GraphQL search for the first 1,000 blog posts. If you have more than 1,000 blog posts, you'll have to up this number. And then we grab the date and the title, and we create a page. So we're creating homepage, we're creating contributions, but then we're also creating the pages for the blogs, right? So like page 0, page 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. And then once you click on one, you open up the blog post page, which runs this query, right? So you pass the slug, which is like the unique identifier for the blog.
Of the URL, yeah.
And that slug is generated based on the route. So like I have posts hello world intro ocean bit.
So that's your slug right there.
Yeah, exactly. This will be the slug. And then we're able to display set dangerous in our HTML. And we're using remarks to generate the HTML from the markdown.
Okay.
Yeah. But you can also do stuff like with unicorn utterances. So we have content blog. We have a lot more blog posts. But let me see if I can find what's one that I did with Kevin. Hang on. Come on. Oh my goodness, my computer has been so slow today. I don't know why.
Sometimes I feel like StreamYard does that. I don't know.
Okay, so How Computers Speak is an article that I wrote with someone else.
Okay.
So you can see here that we have, in our front matter is a lot more complex. We have a publish and editing date. We also have tags, but this is the interesting bit, is the authors, right? So even though we have just usernames, Crutchcorn and Rikaze, you can see that we have like images, and then if I click on one, we have a lot more
actual names there too, not just your usernames.
Right, and it has a whole description about the author and all that stuff, right? So the way that we do that is that we have this data folder with a JSON file called
unicorns.
Yes, unicorns. And then here we have our ID, we have our description, we have our social media handles, we even have pronouns just in case in the future we want to add like a short generated blip.
I like this. Good job on the pronouns.
Yeah. And then what's funny is that we also even have a pronouns.json file. It's not cohesive, but we got it from pronouns.is. So it's as many as I could readily find, and we'll add more in the future if we need to. But then this way, we can sit here and let's say that we did want to have a sentence about an author, right?
Yeah.
We could have something like user.name is building blogs, user.pronouns.they is doing blah, 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 blah. And then we don't have to say whether it's correct or not because we know that it is because they've added themselves to this file, right?
Right.
And then this ID matches to this author's. So when we do a grabbing of data, we do unicorns. It's going to be what I want it to be. Yeah. So you can see the object that we get in return is actually I want this post info is front matter, and then front matter has an authors array, and then that array contains the object, and then like roles also matches to the thing. So like we have the ability to go in depth and match IDs to other more complex data structures that are stored as JSON files, and then these JSON files can then reference JPEGs. So like I'm referencing it here, but then that gets compiled in with GraphQL and makes like a URL available for what build version I need. So it's Gatsby is super cool. It provides a lot of power.
Very cool. Yeah, it's neat to see that the integration there too. And I think I saw you were using Discuss for comments on Unicorn Utterances. Is that right?
I am, just because I didn't want to host a server.
Yeah.
But yeah, Discuss works pretty well for us for now. I'm not, truth be told, I'm not super sold on Discuss, but it works for now, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, it works. And the thing is that I didn't want to make it so that someone had to make yet another account just for one website. And that's why we went with Discuss, is that, Discuss is used on tons and tons and tons of blogs. So it's one of those things where I was like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I was thinking about for my blog doing something with like some simple Firebase auth stuff and just some like little Firestore things for claps or comments or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be really
crazy. But yeah. Any thoughts on like SEO? Have you tried to tackle that? Do you like track this for your blogs and stuff?
So let me use search. I'll actually show you our search page.
Nice.
So Unicorn Utterances. So we have a few pages. Ironically, SSR and SSG like are some of our top things,
nice.
Which I didn't expect, but here we are. Angular testing library hexadecimal shows up quite a lot, but it doesn't get a lot of engagement because it doesn't rank super highly.
But yeah, a lot of impressions, but not a lot of clicks.
Yeah, but I mean that's still not bad for like a small time blog,
That's really impressive to get that many. That's each day, right?
No, this is throughout like the past year. But we get about
yeah. No, that not the 5,000. I was looking at like you're getting about 40 to 80 a day. It looks like.
Yeah. So that's not terrible.
No, that's really good. I think I'd be ecstatic to have those numbers on a blog.
So what we do, I'm actually super, super happy with Unicorn Utterances. We have about 2,000 visitors a month now, and it's growing, which is super, super cool. I didn't expect that. But what we do is under like blog profile, we have an SEO component, right? Mm-hmm. And this is the same thing for OceanBit. It's almost exactly copy and pasted code. And then we use React Helmet to generate the component, right? And then we have the site URL, the site name, we have the description, keywords, and then we also have our images and share banners for when you like share it on Twitter and stuff. Mm-hmm. And the nice part is that this isn't at runtime. Because we're using React Helmet with Gatsby, it compiles into the HTML. So even if we go in here and we click, I'm actually going to open a blog post, and then we do view page source, we can see in the header, or maybe we can't. There we go. So like we can see, maybe we can't. That's interesting. But we should be able to see that there are other tags here as well.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we like Angular templates. Maybe that'll maybe. I bet if I do unicorn, it'll show up. There we go.
There it is.
You only have to type in 3 keywords instead of 2.
Nice. Very cool.
But yeah.
Have I told you about my grave? What's the right word? My deepest regret is the one blog post that gets really good. It's engagement, I guess. First of all, it's on Medium. Mm-hmm. And second of all, I'm telling people to do the wrong thing for something that apparently gets searched for a lot. So if you search CDK table, I think I used to be first. I think there it is.
This one?
Third, I guess. It's still pretty high. There's mine. And is it not loaded? Oh, there it goes.
Yeah. So what about it was that you didn't want to do?
I tell people to do the exact opposite thing that they should do in terms of like reactive programming. So, in fact, I have several talks now where I talk about not doing what I tell people to do here. which is kind of mixing like declarative and imperative paradigms. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I pretty much tell people always use a behavior subject and always call next. And you might as well subscribe to other behavior subjects and call next on other behavior subjects while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So, but it works decently well for this example.
Yeah.
So,
you know what's funny? I think I've actually seen this article when I was trying to figure out CDK table.
Oh, really?
I'll actually share a tiny short story. Oh,
I
actually,
feel like we did look at this last time we talked.
Yeah, but I forgot about that. I forgot I'd already gone down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, but look at all those claps. Those are all poor souls. I led astray.
Hey, wait, hang on. Let me click it a few times.
No.
Have you left a comment under it explaining?
No.
You should. Oh man, that's the number one thing you should do.
I know. This is why I need to get my own blog up so I can say, "Hey, don't listen to that other Zack DeRose on Medium. You don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know who that is.
Don't be swayed by the gifts. It'll work, but you'll hate yourself if you ever want to change something." So, yeah. Did you want to show your table stuff? I know we had bonded over this last time. Now I'm remembering.
I had forgotten that I did like half an hour of nothing but talking about tables.
Hey man, I'm down for that. I'm here for that content.
I'm sure that everyone else here is like, Corbin, stop talking about your tables.
Hey, I'm always first to volunteer for tables or for forums or stuff like that. Those are my things.
Forums, those are my two favorites.
Nice. Sweet, man. Well, we've talked about it all. I feel like we talked about Ocean Bit. Your Git Shark looks cool. And I think it's going to be a super exciting product if you can nail that, especially that tablet use case. I think just right. I think you'll do really well with that. So I'm excited to see how it turns out. And talked about blogs, talked about live coding a little bit. It's been fun, man.
Yeah, it's been a great time. Thanks
for coming by. I got one last very important question for you.
Is it going to be about hot dogs?
Yes. Is a hot dog a sandwich, Corbin?
Hot dog is, of course, a sandwich.
Get out of here. It's not a sandwich. If you had sandwich bread and you threw a hot dog in the middle,
I've done it multiple times.
Okay, that's a sandwich. That's a hot dog sandwich.
No.
That's not a hot.
Wait. Do you know what I was thinking when I was making that sandwich? I said, "Gee, I want a hot dog." It's hipster smoothie is actually more correct. It is a taco, but a taco can be a type of sandwich. I
get the taco response a lot too, but I don't know. It's to me the hot dog is the platypus of the food world. It has qualities of tacos and sandwiches, and I don't know what's the other one, like a pita or something like that. I don't even know if that's the right word for it, but it is not any one of those things. So it's its own beast.
I'm going to be talking to you directly, Ed. I need you to do something for me, and it's of the utmost priority. Like, forget working on Git Shark, forget working on Ocean Bit. This is number one priority. I need you to make a taco or a hot dog sandwich graph for Zack, because he's clearly not understanding where we're
graph. I don't think a graph is going to help you here.
I need some visual evidence that it is in fact a sandwich. We need to make this happen, Ed, please.
All right. But just to lay out my point very, very concretely, sandwich or bread, hot dog, bread, just like a normal sandwich, but that's a sandwich. I have no qualms accepting this. The most difficult thing I've ever done. But a hot dog bun, I think even putting stuff in a hot dog bun, like I don't know if you put cheese in there. I think as a kid I used to put like peanut butter and honey in a hot dog bun. That in my mind that was not a sandwich either.
That's totally a sandwich. Okay, wait.
No.
Have you ever had a hot dog bun split in half? You know, like the base wasn't solid enough, so like it splits apart, and then you just have a hot dog in the middle of two bread. That's a sandwich.
No, that's a failed hot dog.
Sandwich.
It's a failed hot dog. It's a different thing, Corbin.
Dog, but it's a sandwich.
No, it is a failed hot dog. No graph will convince me otherwise.
Oh, Well, Ed, I still expect to see it on my desk in the morning.
Well, that's awesome. All right, Corbin, thank you so much for coming by.
Yeah,
Tomorrow we've got Phenomenal from Twitter coming over. Yeah, we're going to talk. He's a GDE expert. We're going to talk about some of his stuff doing that. I feel like I just know all these GDE experts, and I just want to hear from all of them. So
yes,
it's cool. But yeah, looking forward to that. And yeah, I think the rest of the week we'll probably try some live coding again. It's been a while since I've done that. So yeah, Corbin, if you want to stop by, feel free. Totally. Just be forgiving if my two split brains don't work very well. So
you'll get the hang of it. You will.
There we go. All right, y'all. Thanks for stopping by, and see you tomorrow.
Yeah.